Alright, we're going to be doing something different today. We're going to be actually reviewing a duo that is queued together. Plat 5 duo can't seem to climb. Help needed. I play comp almost exclusively as a duo, and we're hard stuck Plat 5 for the entire season. I main Soldier76/Echo, and he mains Junk/Sojourn. We'll mix these up depending on any comp and feel we're pretty covered in terms of counters. We're constantly in games where either the tank or one of the supports is such a dead weight that it feels like no matter how hard we push ourselves, it's never enough to compensate. We talk about how there's room for us to have better comms with the team, as we're usually so focused on what we're doing that we don't utilize voice enough. This feels daunting though, like there's so much going on and changes so rapidly that how can we better utilize voice to make a difference? We're generally handicapping ourselves by dual queuing DPS, or specifically these heroes. At this point, I'm even open to us spreading out to different roles if it would sync better. Classic scenario is we end up in a mirror tank situation where the enemy tank is constantly 5 to 10 limbs ahead and 2 to 5,000 damage ahead, and a supporter is doing half the healing as the enemy supports. We're not even toxic in comms about it, it's just more baffling as to what we can possibly do to turn a scenario like that around. I'm almost rambling at this point, so I'll leave it at that and look for suggestions. So I would start by saying, and this is my own personal experience as well, the more players you queue with, typically the harder the games will be. Because what the matchmaker does is when you're queued as a duo, it tries to queue you against another duo of the same rank, right? Or about the same rank. If you're queued as a 3-stack, it's going to try to queue against 3-stack, a 4-stack, and so forth. That's always been like that. And so in Overwatch 1, for example, I remember that I was playing with one of my friends, and I think I was usually playing tank, and he was usually playing DPS, and we were both like stuck in diamond for forever. It was very frustrating, and both of us played separately. Like literally, we're just like whatever. We just did our own thing separately, and both of us got the Grandmaster. um, and I would attribute to that. I think if you're gonna duo queue together, just like whatever, we'll just like play the game and like not play any differently than you would in solo queue. You're probably at a disadvantage because most other, well, at least the ones who are climbing, most other duo queues are actively working together to game plan and like synergize with each other in a way that randoms are not, right? The nice thing about solo queuing is that if you're solo queuing, most of the other players, if not all the players, are going to be solo queued. So you just need to play slightly better than you normally do to climb. But in a duo, you really need to play both. Like you need to play better than you normally do in combination with your partner playing better than they usually do, in combination of both of you synergizing better than you would with a random, if that makes sense. So I do think it is, in my opinion, typically harder to climb with groups, presuming that you are all at your correct rank already. And I think that when people are like, "Oh, it's so easy to climb with people that you know," typically that's because the person that you're queuing with is, or you or them are not at your highest rank. So for example, if my friend who was, let's say, GM and DPS comes back and plays now, and he hasn't played in a while, and he's like gold or whatever, he's gonna absolutely stomp through the ranks. So if I'm queuing with him, I'm gonna have a bunch of easy wins because he's so undervalued by the matchmaker. Um, so I would also say that if you change your playstyle significantly while dual queuing, that can also result in wins. So for example, let's say somebody is stuck at platinum, okay? And they're always annoyed at their team and pissed off, whatever. But when I queue with them, they're much nicer, they have a much better mental attitude, and they're always trying to win. That itself will lead to them playing much better because their skill might be ahead of platinum. Let's say it's like diamond, but their attitude is a problem. But when they're queued with me, the attitude is less of a problem. Does that make sense? I mean, there's a lot of factors here that go into it. But my general experience is that if people are plateaued, queuing with other people at the same rank or plateaued makes it harder, not easier, unless you change the way that you play together. In which case, it can be easier because you're coordinating. That's number one. Number two, do you need to use voice or communicate with the team to win? Absolutely not. Completely not. There's a really great quote I saw on the subreddit recently, which was, if you can't get to masters without communicating, then you're not going to get to masters with communicating, right? Because, and I strongly believe this, like you really have to get your mechanics and game sense to a point where you don't need communication except at the highest possible levels, right? Because a lot of the mistakes that people make, I would say up to masters, are simply mechanical. Like mechanical mistakes or just general game mistakes. You don't need somebody to tell you, oh, they're flanking, or there's an enemy, behind us, or whatever. Like usually a combination of sound and just like looking around to be aware of that type of stuff. So relying on your teammates to feed you that information is a crutch. I think at the highest levels, it ends up being much more important because, like, everybody's mechanics is really excellent. So it's really about the coordination of the team. I think at lower levels, like certainly in low plat, your problems are likely have nothing to do with communication. Okay, onto the game. Can you both play DPS, by the way, and climb? Absolutely. All right. I think if you play tank and DPS, you're going to complain about supports. If you play DPS and support, you're going to complain about tank. You play tank and support, you're going to complain about DPS. I guarantee you, no matter what, you're going to have complaints about somebody on the team. It's going to happen. There's no combination that's going to make things like dramatically easier. I mean, I would say in general, at lower ranks, I think it is easier to climb. If you are truly more skilled in your rank, I think tank is probably the easiest to climb with at lower ranks. Because, and Siegel actually had a really good quote for this recently that I like, which is, all else being equal, right? If one tank is better than the other team, that the team with the better tank wins. But if it's close, like even one tank is only a little better than the other tank, the DPS are usually the ones that win the game. So at this level, your tank is probably going to mess you up pretty badly if they're really, really out of position and you give no space. But as you start climbing, DPS will make more and more of a difference. And I would say that I agree with the same thing in Masters, right? I play Masters where I feel like a little better than the opposing tank, but there's not a lot that I can do if my DPS are losing those duels, right? Like if they're losing even or above even duels, like I have relatively little ability to influence that if I'm already keeping the opposing enemy tank in check and getting a little war advantage. Okay, so on to the actual review. I don't know exactly how I'm going to do this. I'm probably going to start with one of you and then do the other one, and then at some points I might switch back and forth depending on if I spot stuff. And we'll just see how this goes.
Let's get this done.
So you decide to take an early flank, which I think is okay. I think you could have taken an opportunity at the doorway to try to get a kill, but I think this is a very long flank at this point. Like you hear the Sojourn right there. I think you had an opportunity to go for the Sojourn because the thing is, right now you're basically exploiting the fact that the enemy team just is deaf, right? They should have heard you the whole way right here running and reacted to you. Like this will work at Plat because everyone is not paying attention, but this should never have happened. Like you should have gotten to here and people should have already been looking to challenge you and you should never have been able to complete your flank. But that's why I'm saying that you really should have stopped here and try to get value instead of trying to continue all the way. But hey, they're going to let you, fine. So the second I see the Moira jump in, because she has Fade, right? There's no way she can't get in the air without Fade. I would immediately helix the Moira when she lands. Yeah, good. I also would have started shooting her. So you have many possible targets here. You should not be shooting the tank. Right? I know the tank's discorded, but you have, the low health soldier. I also don't think she has slide, right? Because I think you saw her. I guess she has slide. But you could target the soldier in her. You could target the Mei, right? I think the soldier would be target number one. Killing the tank here is not going to happen. The Ana's going to pocket it. See? Okay, you can't actually get the kill. The Mei is super low on the cart. You can definitely kill the Mei. Again, you're like not looking at the Mei at all. Watch, right? Mei's at third health. Walks behind the cart. Goes after your Zed. At any point in time, you could have killed this Mei. You could still kill this Mei right now. Decided that you still really want to try to kill this Ramatra, despite the fact that it's clearly not working. Right? Mei's finally dead, and you're like, oh wait, where's my team? You could have saved everybody by killing that Mei. I wonder if this is console. I generally don't waste my time shooting Ramatra Shield. It has 1,000 health, and it doesn't last that long, so it almost never breaks. My default play is just to not bother shooting the Ramatra Shield. Unless you have a Bastion, somebody's going to shred it, otherwise. Okay, I'm going to assume this is console. So for starters, this is not a good peek, okay? You have 1, 2, 3 people that can shoot you, and you're the only one who's shooting back. This is not the right angle, right? Don't take this fight right now. Play here, and just burn the Ramatra down. Or go through here and set up the flank. Like, don't take 3v1 fights, right? You get burned here, and then you blow it up and you die. There's no reason that you should have died there. Okay, so you're gonna run forwards. Yeah, this is good, right? Okay, it's fine. Here she pops it. So he pops ulti, and you should be looking to LOS him. Okay, so I think that the right call would have been to run here, behind the cart, and then over here, and then grab the mini if you needed to. Instead, you just run the straight line away, which doesn't work, and you just die. Right? There's no, that was not a good plan. So general survivability is poor, and angle taking, right? Again, taking bad fights, and you just don't want to be close, taking a close range. Oh, I just helix first. So in that situation where somebody doesn't see you, you should helix first. That way the helix is in the air, and then start shooting. So by the time they start reacting to the damage, the helix will almost immediately hit them. right? And you only need to hit 5 shots, or not including headshots, to kill with Helix. I don't know how your Mercy got this. Okay, let's really weird. Okay, so all the things have gone wrong here. So you have no idea what's around this corner, okay? Because you haven't seen anything, but presumably their team. Then you decide to go around this corner. You pop heal station despite the fact that you don't know like what is coming or any damage that's gonna be coming your way. So the grenade comes down. You've eaten the grenade, so you're purple, and you see the damage orb, which means you're now in extreme danger because nobody can heal you right now. So the correct call would be to try to run away. The second you see this, you should turn around. Okay, but you're clearly like committed. You know, like you go around the corner like I'm gonna pop visor here and win the game. But that is not what's gonna happen, right? You're gonna pop visor here and totally waste it. Well, mostly waste it. Very, very lucky that you did not die here. So, I think, again, a better team at higher levels will immediately punish you. Like, you should be dead already. Like, the Moira could easily have killed you, the Ana could easily have killed you, like, everybody could easily kill you here. And I don't even think visor was necessary. So, you don't actually kill anybody with this. Like, there's no actual value here. Right? Like, yeah, you, like, technically killed her with a visor. Like, you would have killed her, like, it's like a 5-on-3 right now, 5-on-4. Also, I have no idea where their tank is. So what you should have done here is, first of all, never taken this close route. As Soldier, you want to play in the mid-range. Okay? If you play up here, anybody who's right here is close to you. You should have gone this way, out here, and then played this angle, which is a million times safer than trying to play on the cart where everyone's going to be spamming. And then put heal station down here. And then visor if you needed to. Not just commit in your head, like, oh, I'm going to visor here. Like, that was a mistake. Like, you get no value from this visor. Reaper's in your face. You correctly run away from him. I think that's the right call. Alright, they pop okay, so once Trance gets popped, right? Just fight. Just fight. So, like, you don't have to even worry about the Soldier in Discord. You know? Like, you're missing opportunities to reload. You right-click the wall. That's awful. Yeah, you could have gotten 2 kills there pretty easily. A 3rd kill if you're a little better, and I think you got 0. So, it's weird. You see the Reaper go here. Wraith, as soon as you Wraith, chase him down. What's he gonna do? Right? He's got like 80 health, your whole team's chase him down. You should immediately be sprinting up here, getting around this corner to make sure he dies. Right? Instead, you force your team to have to do it instead. And sometimes your team won't get it, right? There's no reason for you to not have done that. You have full health, big pocket. Okay, again, pop heal station for I don't know what reason. You didn't know that this was gonna happen, right? You didn't know that you would just eat a shot here. What, you eat a railgun? Yeah, you eat a railgun. Like, I don't think that was a good heal station. Like, it doesn't feel like you have the ability to predict what is gonna happen here. Alright, so you see the Soldier go. I would have peeked right here instead of left. You see how left takes you longer to... Like, this is like an example of like a micro detail that you just should clean up. Okay? So watch. The second the Soldier goes, what's the fastest way to peek the Soldier? Is it left or is it right? It's definitely right, right? Right will get you there so quickly. Versus left, you see how far it go? That's literally like 3 times as long. And you know the Soldier's not going after you because she's crazy and decided to slide in and try to kill your Zen in the middle of your whole team. Okay? So you know that you don't have to worry about dodging her or anything like that. You could freely peek this right now. And instead, you see you jiggle a little bit, then you start going to left, then you finally come out here, then you miss your Helix, right? You barely get any splash, and then you shoot her, but then she manages to kill your Zen. Like, that should never happen. You should have just gone to the right, immediately Helix her feet, and instantly kill her. Like, that's just sloppy. Again, another heal station of 0 value. Oh, you really wanted the 2 health back, huh? So, there's Morris here, and then you have 14 ammo right now. You can see the Ana underneath the cart. You see the Ramatra is low, and you know Moira faded. You could take this fight, right? You're full health. You have your other 2 team members here. Like, you could definitely go forward and fight this. And instead, oh yeah, she faded in a trap too. Instead, you decide she's still in the trap. You decide to just run away. The Moira is still in this trap. You're very lucky to hit that Helix. Finally, you reload. Reaper's in your face. Really should have died there. Cool. Good kill on the Reaper. Yeah, don't walk towards him. Great. Killed. No, you gotta hit those. Just standing still. That was a bad Helix. No chance you hit that. Right? You really want to save Helix for right now. Oh man, you should have gotten that kill. Again, not a good Helix. Right? There's like so little chance of it working. Like imagine if you Helix right now. Well, I guess you do have Helix right now, but I think you should save Helix a little more. Helix a little bit. Okay, again, you're like, okay, I'm popping Visor. You don't even look. You just pop Visor right away, and you're like, oh, I hope this works. You see, like these are like some of the worst Visors I've ever seen. To be perfectly honest, these are like really bad Visors. Okay, again, you could have easily killed her right here. Right, you shoot. First of all, I don't know why you're backing up. Why not run forward? Like, are you scared of the Moira killing you with Coalescence while you have Visor? That's never gonna happen. Soldier does 176 damage per second, right? Moira heals and Coalescence for like 40 or 50 health. Like you're doing 120 damage net a second, give or take. There's no way she can out heal this damage. So you should have just kept walking forwards to kill her, right? Then you could have right-clicked the ground right there. Then potentially you could have gone to the left and right-clicked it, but instead you shoot this Helix like off, this dream Helix, just off into the distance, into Narnia. You know, like that Helix isn't going anywhere. Again, you could just be pummeling the opposing team, but you're not. So there's not like a ton you could have done about that. Specifically, it's the fact that you're generally just not in good positions or like being efficient with your time. So for example, right there, like you shoot the Helix, I understand, right? He jumped. It's very unusual. So you miss. As soon as he starts teleporting, I would have reloaded. Because I know I have to kill him, and I know that Reaper ulti's coming. Like there's no reason he's teleporting in the backline if not the ulti. So you should have reloaded right now and then turned, and your reload would be done right about now, and then you could have blown up this Reaper. But instead, you waste your time, you reload, you kind of get out of the way, and then you let your set down again for the millionth time. Again, like why pull back here? You're full health. Okay, you have Mercy here, you have your Ramatra here. Like this fight is gonna be win or lose here. So you should step forwards to kill this Moira, not backwards. Like why are you backing up here? Like, you have to get kills. It's easier if you get a little closer versus moving backwards. I will say it's funny that you mentioned complaining about the your tank, right? Because your tank has like way less damage, you know, less limbs, whatever. Their tank has been getting nano nonstop. And I haven't seen that nearly as much from your team. So that is, like, this is why stats can be very confusing, right? Like, their tank is getting a lot of help. A lot of it. Like, he's getting nano every single fight. I think focusing on the tank here is okay. Alright, yeah, back out for a second. Reload. Like, you just need to chill a little bit right now. Because you're down one, okay? They're all grouped up. They have the advantage of the Mega. Yeah, you just need to regroup. Yeah, Roger Paul's ulti, great. We'll leave. That's fine. Just leave. Okay, so once again, does this look like a good time to Visor? Let's just pause for a moment and ask, does this look like a good time to Visor? The Ramatra is not a good Visor target to begin with. Tanks are not a good Visor target, and he's behind the cart. The Soldier is here, right? But he can instantly duck. The supports are way back here, right? The Moira is like kind of vulnerable, but you haven't seen her use Fade, so she can just fade out. So what do you think you're gonna kill here? Because I think you're not gonna kill anybody. Right? It's like you didn't kill anybody with Visor. Like you got a lucky Helix there, but you didn't kill anybody with the Visor. That didn't do anything. You have to wait until people are in the open and you can gun them down. Right? That is not a good time to use Visor. It was completely useless. You could have done all that without Visor. Once again, the Ramatra gets nano for the millionth time. And then you get blown up. Okay. I'm probably going to watch this like a little bit more and switch over to Junkrat. Yeah, I'm just going to switch to Junkrat. So I would say, to wrap up on you, I would say, number one, your visors are bad. Your visors are really bad. Number two, your heal stations are really bad. So basically, you've eliminated the visor part of your kit and the heal station part. I think both of them, if we literally took them out, like if you played the game so far without either one of those abilities, I think that your performance would have been about 90 to 95% the same. So I don't think you're getting good value out of either of those abilities. I think your aim for your level is good, probably a little above average, assuming this is console, like Plat 5, right? Plat 5 console. I think that your aim is probably a little above average. Maybe it's not console. I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. But anyway, compared to your peers, you feel like you're a little better at aiming than them, especially with the Helix. I think your Helix aim is generally pretty good. I think you go for some like prayer helixes that I don't like, but beyond that, I would say your Helix is generally pretty good. I think you get good value out of it, and your aim generally is good. I think your positioning still leaves a lot to be desired. You take close angles sometimes when you don't need to. And then you stay too far away sometimes when you don't need to, and you don't seem to understand the timing of when you need to be pushing and when you have to be kind of chilling. Like there are times where I'm like, you need to be aggressive here, and you play passive, and there are times where I'm like, you should play passive here, and you play aggressive. So I don't think you have a good game sense feel for like when your team is winning or losing, or if there's an advantage or not. I think there's a ton you could have done to change the impact. Like even for this far in the game, I think there is a ton of stuff you could have done differently to impact the game more. All right, let's switch over to your buddy. Which, you know, might not actually a dude. I'm using buddy in that gender neutral way.
Ready.
Alright, Junkrat. So I would spam over the top right now. Like, over the top here. Why not? Right? Free shots. Try to farm ult charge. As Junkrat, always, I mean, as all heroes farm ult charge, but definitely try to farm ult charge as Junkrat. Junk tries to go this way. If this was the plan, I think Junkrat should have concussed mined out from the beginning. Right? Back here. Throw concussive and go over the top because you're building the speed gap on him right now because he's not using concussive mine, right? Again, concussive over here would have sped you up considerably, and that way your threat is synced up, right? You want to both be shooting at the same time, not one of you shooting then the other one shooting. Could have instantly killed the Moira right there. Kind of recognizes it, but then like goes off. All right. So many things have gone wrong here. So first of all, just shoot the squishies. Right? Just shoot the squishies. Forget about the Ramantra. Just shoot the squishies. Second, throw a concussive here. Because you throw a concussive, like even your regular grenades miss, that's fine. You throw a concussive mine here, you blow it up, does 110 damage, and knocks the soldier in towards your team, which is going to guarantee death. Right? Don't even shoot the Ramantra here. Like throwing concussive mine at Ramantra was a huge waste. This is a huge waste of your time. Nothing is happening here. Right? Like, don't worry about a flank that's not coming. Look at the other 3 people here on cart that are like that are all vulnerable targets that you could have been killing. Instead, okay, for perspective, so let's watch this. All right, so how long was that? 10 seconds? That's 10 seconds. So this is what I would have done. I've been like, okay, cool. This is going on here. I would have shot down here, throw a concussive mine, right? Shot, forced Mei, block, right? Drop down and killed the Mei. So in the time that it took you 10 seconds doing absolutely nothing, I would have killed 2 of their heroes already. And there's nothing to do with aim, right? I just would have made a different decision. If you walk up at close range, I guarantee you anybody can hit those shots. Right? You go in this weirdly awkward flank, super lucky kill in the Mei. That was not intentional. I'm not going to believe that was an intentional shot. Okay, now you jump into between the tank and the Ana, which is a crazy plan. The Ramantra should just killed you here. You're very lucky to not die. Now you're extremely lucky to not die at purple. So you're doing too much reloading here, right? You have to finish a reload. Yep. 1, 2. Again, once the shield is up, right? This is not the time to be throwing mine. Yeah, just go for the Mei. So walking in a straight line at people is a very bad idea and will usually get you killed. So right here, like, you're just very lucky that he could kill you in 3 hits. You're just running a straight line at him and then Ana. He could easily kill you here. So what you really should have done, especially built Tire, you should have gone here, just pop Tire, gone over the top, and instantly killed them. Now you pop Tire, but you see they're much further back. You good job dodging them, but you die here. So you trade, right? You use an ultimate to trade 1 for 1. This is not a good trade. At a minimum, you'd want to get 2 for 1. You know, like this is not good value.
The payload advances as it should.
Okay, so you don't look like an experienced Junkrat. I will say that. So what you really should have done is 1 concussive here to jump, and then do 2nd concussive to go over this wall. That is much, much, much faster than doing what you're doing right now. Okay, so again, you have this very wide peak that will get you killed. So watch from this angle. You see how you just kind of walk out here? Like, you should be dead. Everybody here should be dead except for the tank. You're all crazy, which makes me think that this is console. All right, so you're at 17 health. You have to hide. Very lucky the Reaper does not kill you. So when you see Reaper this close, immediately throw concussive mine and shoot. And pop it, because at this range, Reaper can kill you in 1 hit at 96 health. So you want to get him away from you as fast as possible. It's less about the damage, more about the survival. You want to immediately bop him away, Eric, and then move you backwards at the same time. You're extremely lucky that the Reaper does not instantly kill you there. So you decide to go aggressive. It's interesting. So I would not do this without concussive mine, right? I think that whenever you go aggressive, you want at least 1 concussive mine charge to either get an insta-kill or get yourself out of it. I like the idea, but it's just not the right timing. Like, you really need those abilities. I don't agree with concussive here, because now you're stuck out. Like, imagine, like, you just jumped over here, right? Imagine the soldier was playing right here, which is perfectly normal. She can just kill you, because you would have jumped up, right? Landed right here in the open, and I go shoot, 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 and then railgun, and you're never going to be able to get away in time. Yeah, it's very clear that both of you don't have a lot of experience playing at higher ranks where people have much, much better aim, because you step out from cover a ton and just don't believe that people will hit you. So when this Wraith is finishing, right here, throw mine. Because he can't dodge at that point, right? Throw mine, as soon as he finishes, blow up. You don't want to wait for it to finish, then throw mine, right? You want to instantly kill him the second he comes out of it to prevent anybody from healing him. Okay, the second you hear overclock, right? I would turn immediately up and start shooting the window. Like, that's your job here as Junkrat. I also don't think you need to bounce it off the right wall. I think you just literally shoot it through the window. Right, she goes in, throw mine down. You're just a little bit too slow to save the Zach. Plus you missed the grenades. Then you die. So the second I see this coming, like, he's nanoed and he has a lot of health. I do not want to stand here because there's not enough space in the wall. So I would, like, maybe try to be going this way, but if he kept going forward, I use concussive mine and then knock myself backwards. But you kind of stand here, like, you actually have space behind you to be outside of this, but then you react like way too late for this. This is a crazy flank. Okay, so first of all, everyone should have heard that. Second, just running a mine on the ground easily gets it killed. That's fine, yeah, kill the Ana. But again, you die for this. Like, you can't be trading your life for, like, an ulti. Like, that's a really bad trade. To have to use an ulti just to get 1 kill and die for it is really, really, really bad. All right, spam. Yeah, again, put it deeper. So your shots, you see how they're landing short? Put them higher. Right, so from your second, put them higher so that they go and they land here, right here, so they can get directs and push them back. Your shots are too short. Again, you can shoot over the shield. Don't shoot the shield. Shoot over the shield this way, and put pressure on the back line because that forces them to dodge. Like they might aid a shot, and then like might force them to cover. Again, yeah, keep shooting there, and then you can also toss concussive mines deep into the back line too. So So I wouldn't go for because you know there's a mega. I mean, hopefully you know that there is a mega health pack right here, right? So you should know that the Ramantra's not going to die there. Like just being able to predict the way it goes. So instead of throwing that concussive to the right at the Ramantra, you should have thrown right here. You should have thrown this way, deep in, especially here to cut off the Sojourn and then bounce her towards your team. Would have resulted in the kill. All right. So number one, based on how close the Ramantra's playing, like as soon as I see this, I throw trap down because he's clearly trying to push into us right now. A, B is when you hear overclock. Right there, you do not want to peek. The last thing you want to do is leave the cart. Like play very close and force her to come up to you so where you can insta-kill her. Instead, you're like, oh, okay, I'm not going to worry about the salt. You just run forwards into the enemy team and die. Okay, I'm going to stop there. So let me kind of address your points like one by one. Is it the tank problem? No, I think your tank played fine. Like nothing here, if I looked at this, be like, wow, my tank is just dying in like ridiculous ways or like not making space. No, I think your tank is doing fine. Like I don't perceive there's anything here where if I was playing DPS, I'd be like, I have zero space here. Their tank is like oppressive. I think tank's about the same. I think the only difference is that their tank is just constantly getting nano and your tank isn't. You know what I mean? Like you're running a Mercy and a Zen, so you obviously don't get nano. So their tank is obviously going to walk over your team every single time it gets nano. Like that's just the nature of the hero compositions. You have to play around the fact that you have Mercy Zen and not Ana Moira. Their team also is way more healing, right? With Mercy and with Ana and Moira, like their tank gets way more healing than your tank does. So there's a limit to what your tank can possibly do. So it's really your job to capitalize on damage boost and Discord, which are incredibly strong for DPS. This is like a very DPS friendly game. Okay, you would be expected to carry this game for sure. Like if I was the tank here, I'd be like, okay, cool. I'm not the one who can carry this because there's not enough healing for me. But for DPS, I'd be thrilled. Everyone's gonna instantly die, right? Zen's what, like 30% damage boost, and then Mercy's 30% damage boost. That's like basically 60%. It's not exactly that math, but it's like 60% less health for everyone. Everybody should die instantly. Like if I'm Soldier, I'm damage boosted on a discorded target. One Helix will kill them. Kill them or instantly. I think it will instantly kill them. Pretty close to it. Yeah, should be pretty close to it. If not insta-kill. So it should be easy. And Junkrat's the same way, right? Junkrat concussive or regular grenade should instantly kill a discorded target if you're being damage boosted. So you shouldn't have any trouble as DPS getting kills here. So number one, not a tank problem. Is it a support problem? Not obviously. I mean, I think the supports basically did all right. I think they generally kept people up. I didn't even notice really the healing issue for when either of you were playing DPS. Like, I never felt like, oh, it's a long period without getting healing or there's not enough sustain. That wasn't the issue at all. Like nobody's dying because they run out of healing. People are dying because they're out of position. So I would not say it's a tank issue. I would not say it's a support issue. Number three, I think that the Soldier here plays fine, probably a little better than this rank, especially if they clean up like the heal station nano usage. I hate to break it to you. I think the Junk is much worse. I think that this is not the correct tier for the Junkrat. I think the Junkrat basically only you get that one lucky kill on that May, and then the only other two kills I've seen so far I think are on Junkrat tires, right? And you died for both of those Junkrat tires. So my bet is because both of you are exclusively duo queuing, there is a skill gap between the two of you. And I don't know if you're friends or partners or whatever it ends up being, but because the two of you are playing exclusively together, your ranks are generally going to move up and down together because you're playing every single game, right? Every win is a win for both of you. Every loss is a loss for both of you. I bet that your Junkrat would drop out of this rank if they had to play solo. I think that they're probably, quite honestly, at a gold, like a whole division below, like gold 5 or below, based on what I've seen. From the movement, the aim, and the general mechanics, I think that they're really struggling to do things here other than blindly spamming. So, yeah. I mean, again, maybe the rest of this game looks different, but so far, I would say it looks pretty bad for your Junkrat, and I think that your Junkrat is actually dragging your team down. I think I could easily carry this game as either one of you. I don't think the supports or the tank are an issue, and I think you have had a ton of opportunities, and basically every single one of your deaths was like pretty obvious on how to avoid. So definitely, I think the Junkrat is probably lower skilled here, which, let's say the soldier is high plat, let's say, and the junk is, low gold, that averages out to plat 5. You know what I mean? So if you're really curious where your ranks are, you could try playing, let's say, 20, 25 games separately and see what happens. And maybe I'm wrong, right? Or maybe your junk is way better at soldiering, let's say. But from what I've seen so far, I think there's a significant skill gap between, like, I would say a one division skill gap between the two of you. And that might make your games easier if the junk is in fact lower ranked. If they play games separately and lose a bunch of games, their rank will go down, which will make your games easier and fairer, if that makes sense. Instead of both of you being like plat 5, like your junk might drop to, let's say, gold 3 or something. That will make the average MMR of the games lower when you do queue together, which will make the games easier. Now, you might not want your soldier to queue more because they might climb, and then that will make the games harder. But that's kind of the read that I have. Again, I think for specific tips, I did specific tips for the soldier already. I think for the Junkrat, it's tough because there's just so many things that kind of go wrong here that it's hard for me to pick out one particular thing. I think overall, starting from, I could tell, like, basically coming out the gate, like, with you not concussive mind jumping, that you don't feel super comfortable on junk. But, like, right here, like, I think you just want to maximize uptime of attacking squishies, right? Just constantly keep shooting at them all the time. Don't, like, wander away. Like, right here, just keep shooting at them, right? They're, like, under you. Like, this is easy stuff. Just keep shooting. Like, if you miss or not, like, even the rolls will splash them and force them back. So just maximize uptime on squishies. Look for the one-shot combo, which I've never seen you execute in this entire first point, or it's 2 points or whatever that I saw so far. One grenade plus one mine instantly kills a 200 health hero, right? Because you're 240 damage. You never even try it. So that's a big problem. Number 3 is just generally, like, really bad peaks. Like, you just walk really far away from angles into a lot of fire and then die, which we'll see a couple times. And number 4, I think your ult usage is very poor. And you also do it from, like, unsafe positions, which gets you killed. Like right here, you could have popped it and gone over the top and just killed everybody. Okay. So, yeah, don't worry about comms. It's honestly, nothing here has to do with communication or synergy. It's not like, oh, like, you popped this, you're Genji, you bladed, but you didn't get nano because you didn't coordinate with your Ana. That's not the issue at all for here whatsoever. It's just purely mechanics, positioning, and game sense, for sure. That's the problem for both of you. And I think that this game is, in fact, easily turnable if you just work on some of those things. Okay, hope that's helpful.